Hey, hey, what's going on, guys? It is Eric Pate here, and today I am going to present to you guys one of my personal favorite planes that I've learned about ever since I got fascinated with aviation. Now, this plane kind of made a major impact in the aviation world. Again, some things I'm going to say is going to be opinion based, so just going to put that out now. Now, do I really think the 747 made a major impact, though, in the aviation world? Abso-freaking-lutely. It surely made a major impact in the aviation world. So, real quick, I'll go ahead and give you guys a quick rundown of the 747. Some information I know about the 747. We're going to talk about 5 of their accidents. Again, like I said, it's only 5 of the accidents. Real quick, if you think I'm going to be talking about the Tenerife one, just letting you know now, I would not. I already made a whole 20-minute video, which I will include and link in the description below. I made a whole 25 to 30-minute video talking about the Tenerife. All 5 of these accidents will also get their own video. They will get a what if on them. I'm still trying to figure out what to change about each one for me to make a what if one. Now, one of them we're going to be talking about, I can't really change a variable about it because they did the very best they can on fixing a previous issue with the plane. Alright. So, yeah, let's talk about the 747 today. Alright, so, like I mentioned earlier, it's one of the first jumbos ever. Actually, let's go ahead and give you guys the shortened version of what was happening in the late 60s. There was a race between Boeing, Lockheed, and McDonnell Douglas to get out their very first jumbo jet. Lockheed came up with the L-1011, which is the Delta plane right here. And McDonnell Douglas came up with the DC-10, which is this plane right here, the plane in the middle. And then, of course, Boeing came up with the 747. Honestly, though, between these 2 planes, passenger-wise, I think the 747 did the most success. I don't know what happened with the L-1011. I don't think it sold very many, is what I think happened. And then McDonnell Douglas, which I have made a whole 10-minute video on, 20 to 25 minutes video on, with their cargo door. They had trouble with their cargo door. And then, of course, Boeing had the most success because it was a very iconic plane, the 747, even though not everything was perfect with the 747. Again, we're going to be talking about like 5 of the most major accidents involving the 747. 2 of them could have easily been prevented, but I'll explain why in a second. What is the characteristics of the 747? Has 4 engines, 211 feet wingspan. It is double-deckered, and first plane to be known as wide-body. Was the 4 main characteristics. Another, you almost immediately knew you were going to, from what the documentary watched on the 747, you almost knew immediately that you were going to be on a 747 when you were flying, because as soon as you walk through that gate, all you see is this big old giant plane with a hump on it. We'll look at it on the next slide, actually. So yeah. General facts I know of the 747. It is used for Air Force One. If you have not seen Air Force One, it does look a lot like the 747. Because let's say I was to take all these words away. Okay? You can see that little hump I was talking about. You can see that it does not go full on double-decker. Unlike another plane I might be talking about in the near future on this channel, the Airbus A380. But you can only see, though, that it does not run through the whole length of the plane. Only looks like about half of the plane. Of course, like I mentioned, the 747 won the race between the jumbos. And what are the top 5 worst plane accidents? Is Tenerife, Japan Air 123, Jakarta mid-air collision, and there was one more. I think Air India 182. I'm not 100% sure. Let's get my phone. Let's see. Top 5 worst plane crashes in history. Now, we can argue though that September 11th was a plane accident. I will go ahead and tell you guys this. Some people have said that that it's okay for me not to count it. Some people have said it is okay for me to count it. I choose not to count it because, again, it was a terrorist attack. Okay, I was right. It was Air India 182. Now, I don't count 9/11 as just a freak plane accident because it wasn't. Yeah, sure, we can also argue Air India 182, which we're going to talk about in just a second, wasn't just a freak plane accident. At first, with the 9/11s, though, at first we did thought it was a freak accident until we found out, okay, something's actually going on, with 3 planes crashing into buildings in a matter of not even an hour. The first plane crashed at 8:46 on 9/11, and the third one crashed at 9:37, and the fourth one crashed at 10:03. So, not even an hour and a half that we had 4 planes crashing. And, yeah. Anyway, enough chit-chat about the September 11th attacks. Let's get into some of the crashes involved that did involve the 747. Again, like I mentioned, Air India 182. We're going to talk about that one first, actually, because it happened first. June 23rd of 1985, a bomb brought down Air India 182. The flight was going from Montreal to Bombay with stopovers in Delhi and London Heathrow. It was on the Montreal to London leg when this happened. The crash killed all 329 that were on board the 747. Now we're gonna watch a video regarding this accident. I will add one thing. Sorry, my headset fell off. I will add one thing now. If you look on the, I'm gonna put my cursor over it. If you look about where my cursor is, there was a 5th engine. It's because you see 1, 2, 3, 4. This 747 was specially designed to carry a 5th engine. The 747 that did Flight 182 was specially designed to carry a 5th engine. So at first they thought it brought that down, and then they found traces of a bomb on board Air India 182. And then on the right side of that picture, you see one of the most famous pictures in aviation history. Parts of Pan Am 103. Let's fast forward to about 3.5 years later. On December 21st of 1988, Pan Am 103 was cruising along in the night over Lockerbie, Scotland, when a bomb detonated and tore the 747 apart in midair. The plane crashed, killing all 259 people and 11 more on the ground. The flight originated from Frankfurt with stopovers at London Heathrow and New York JFK, with a final destination of Detroit. So, okay. This was known as the Lockerbie bombing. If you look up the Lockerbie bombing, you're probably going to see a bunch of stories about Pan American Airlines Flight 103, professionally known as Pan Am. But I can't believe, though, 4 days before Christmas, somebody decided, hey, I'm going to bomb a freaking airplane carrying a bunch of people. What was wrong with... Even to this day, what is wrong with people? It's like, why would you want to kill almost 270 people 4 days before Christmas? 4 days before Christmas. Now, both of these accidents could have been easily prevented. I would definitely say the 1988 one would have been prevented, but both of these would have been prevented if we had the security measures we have today. I'm not really kind of getting into detail about the security measures. When I do when I get Phantom 103 and Area India 182, they're gonna be on the same video. When I do my video about them, it's gonna be the same video because both of them had a bomb. So I'm bored. But if we had the security measures we had today, I would have said Phantom 103 would have been prevented. Area 182 probably would have been prevented as well. That's what really beefed up some of the security measures was after Phantom 103. Because I'll go ahead and tell you the effect, actually, what happened after Phantom 103. Because both of these, same thing. The person who checked the bag and didn't board the plane. And almost all the airlines came together and said, hey, let's agree on this. If somebody checks a bag in, we're not taking off until everybody who checked the bag in is on the plane. So I can't do this. Let's say my brother was to go to Miami by plane, but he forgot his suitcase at his apartment. He asked me, hey, can you take your bag over to XNA checking in on the next flight to Miami? I can tell him, look, I can, but I have to get on the plane. You're basically asking me to get on the plane. Because, like I just mentioned, due to security reasons, I have to fly to Miami with the bag. Because we don't want something like this to happen again. Now, there's still it still goes through like it still goes through an X-ray machine, and if it buzzes, they will search the bag, and then if it does turn out something is suspicious in the bag, I'm pretty sure they will question me. I've never been in this situation before, because I only checked in a bag like twice the whole time out of all the times I've flown commercial, the 14 flights I've taken on commercial, the bag was only on, the times I checked in the bag only went on 2 planes. It went on the Airbus A319 I checked it on when I went from XNA to DFW, and then 3 days later when I flew back, it was on the E175 I flew on the way back. So, anyway. Next one, the Jakarta mid-air collision. On November 12th of 1996, Saudi Flight 763 was flying to Dhahran in Saudi Arabia from Delhi, India, when Pakistan Airlines Flight 1907 from Pakistan to Delhi hit the 747. Both planes ended up crashing, killing all 349 people on both planes. This resulted in the third deadliest plane crash of all time, behind Tenerife and Japan Air 123, which we're just talking about in just a second, and the world's worst mid-air collision. So, this would have been easily surpassed if the 2001 mid-air collision that we did discuss before on this channel, which happened to be the first aviation what if. This would have been easily surpassed by that if that one actually occurred. For both the worst mid-air collision and the worst plane crash. What actually happened was the Pakistan plane was not doing what they were told. They were told to be at 15,000 feet, while the Saudi flight was told to be at 14,000 feet. Well, I'm pretty sure the Pakistan flight was supposed to be at 16,000. What I'm saying was a Saudi plane was supposed to be at 15,000 feet, while the Kakistan was either supposed to be at 16,000 or 14. I don't remember what altitude each plane was supposed to be at, but they were supposed to be 1,000 feet apart, and then once they passed each other, the Kakistan was supposed to continue descending. And the Saudi flight was supposed to continue climbing. But the Kakistan plane, I think, descended a little bit too far, and it hit the Saudi 747. I think originally there was supposed to be. I heard there were survivors on the Saudi plane originally, but due to severe injuries, they ended up dying. So yeah. Okay, this one's not going to be controversial at all. Actually, this was one of the most controversial plane crashes in my. Well, the 185. This is probably the second most controversial plane crash. On July 19th of 1996, TWA 800 mysteriously explodes midair. The plane was flying from New York JFK to Rome with a stop at Paris Charles de Gaulle Airport. It's suspected a bomb or a missile brought down TWA 800. That's why it was so controversial. What actually happened though was a short circuit happened in the center wing fuel tank, and the explosions had enough force to bring down TWA 800. All 230 people on board died. Alright, so here's why I made the comment of how this one was controversial. So basically the very first thing the NTSB rolled out was a bomb or a missile. That was like the first thing they rolled out. Was a bomb or a missile brought down Trans World Airlines Flight 800, or for short TWA 800. But the FBI kept saying, "Oh no, it was a bomb," or "Oh no, it's a missile." And then but the residue that is produced by a bomb or a missile, when they were trying to recover, when they try to recover it, the parts and pieces of TWA 800, when they try to recover those pieces, it put some of that residue I was talking about. It did put some of that on, which caused the explosion. No, which caused the FBI to believe it was a bomb or a missile that brought down TWA 800. Eventually, the NTSB had enough of telling the FBI, "Look, it's not that." After the FBI was convinced. So the lead investigator for the NTSB said, "Look, let's take all the pieces we have and build a plane." And that's what exactly he did. He built. So you can see they tried to rebuild this. Right? Where my cursor is, they tried to rebuild it. They tried their best to rebuild it. And I think they did a pretty good job. Unfortunately, I heard it's dismantled now, which I would like to see that in person. Another thing about TWA 800 was one thing they did to help with the investigation was a flight test to determine the flight's conditions, and they said that the fuel tank was hot enough to cause if there was a spark in the fuel tank, it would have caused an explosion, and the amount of force they used, and then they took like a mock fuel tank with the same kind of material for the fuel tank that was on TWA 800, and they used I don't know how much force they used, but it turned out it was also, and then once they used that much force, both fuel tanks looked very similar, so they knew it was something in the fuel tank, and then after looking at all that wire, they eventually found out where the spark was, and it was in the center wing fuel tank. Alright, let's move on to Japan Air 123. On August 12th of 1985, Japan Airlines Flight 123 suffered a decompression which made the aircraft uncontrollable. The pilots tried their best to return the stricken plane back to Tokyo Haneda while flying to Awasaka. I don't know how to say it. It's some Japan name. I'm not even going to try to pronounce it. Before it crashed into a mountain, killing 520 of the 524 on board. The 4 survivors had serious injuries but managed to recover. What caused the decompression was improper maintenance of a tail strike 7 years prior. Alright. I should have probably included another one in here. I choose not to. Because we shouldn't be talking about everybody dying on a freaking plane crash. But I should also include China 611. They had the same problem. But here's the thing though with Japan Air 123. I don't think they realized they were making their mistakes with Japan Air 123. Because it was like some disc in the back of the plane to keep that was keeping the plane pressurized. So with Japan Air 123, it was like the disc at the back of the plane that got broke, and they tried the best fixing it. I think they did a really great job trying to fix it, but eventually it gave out, and it did eventually cause the plane to crash. Versus China 611, they just kept sending the area where the tail strike occurred. They just kept sending that area down. They were actually supposed to complete, and then just add another piece of sheet metal over it, trying to make it look like it was unnoticeable. But they were supposed to actually keep on fixing it. They were disobeying the Boeing recommendation of actually supposed to completely replacing the tail area. I think they were supposed to completely replace the tail area. I'm not 100% sure. But they just kept sending it down. Which did eventually cause the 747 to crash while going from Taiwan to Hong Kong. So, yeah. Next one. Okay. Now I've chit-chat about deaths and plane crashes. This is probably one of the greatest aviation stories ever. Well, I would say it is behind Miracle on the Hudson, which I might do a what if on that one. But anyway, on October 9th of 2002, Northwest Flight 85 was flying from Detroit to Tokyo Narita airports. The plane bottom rudder snapped to the left over the Bering Sea. The pilots instantly turned the plane around and got it back towards Alaska. They managed to keep it flying and landed safely at Ted Stevens Anchorage Airport 2 hours later. They flew a stricken plane for 2 hours. 2 hours. And here's the cool thing. All 404 people left the plane uninjured. A fully packed Boeing 747 with a broken rudder landed safely. And everyone survived. Let's save this slide for after the videos, because it's time to watch some videos. Alright, let's look at the Pan Am one first. Yeah, I forgot to fast forward to the part where we need to start watching. Think about right here we need to start watching. You can see the plane starts breaking apart right here. Now, look at about where my cursor is. Boom. Yeah. Fiery explosion. And then I got an idea. Let's watch this last part in slow motion. Meteorite. Everyone thinks. And then oh, wait, Oh man, it's such a beautiful night. Unlock your beat. Just a beautiful night on December 21st, 1988. Just a beautiful night. Not anymore. Fast forward a second. Boom! Some people said they felt their houses shake. They felt their houses shake when that happened. They thought something worse happened. They thought an asteroid hit the Earth or something. But nope. Okay, we're done with that one. So I mentioned about the fifth engine right there. Now let's fast forward. Now, at first, you wouldn't expect a bomb not to go off on this plane. You just see it just break apart all of a sudden. All of a sudden, you just see it break apart. I'll be right back. I have no idea what's causing to make some noise in my apartment, but I will be right back while I go investigate it. Alright, so we're done with Air India. Let's look at TWA 800. Now look at about where the S is. Look between where the S and the W is on Trends World. Okay. Now if I hit play, boom, right there. Okay, more or less where the W is. Without warning. Without warning. Slow-mo. Yeah. Now, let's keep watching at normal speed. Now, okay, I'm going to go ahead and credit. Hopefully this person doesn't mind I'm using his videos. And then you can see the plane starts flying, and then you know it's not going to last long. Because the plane eventually is going to go down and, well, you know, crash. Real quick, can we watch the part where the cockpit splits in slow motion? I can. Yeah. So. Yeah. Alright, let's go ahead and move on to the Jakarta. And right there. And then it kind of just looked like something just exploded. It looked like a bomb may have just brought down a plane. But no one realized that that was actually a collision. So they found parts of a plane crash near each other. I do want to watch this part real quick in slow-mo. Let's watch it at quarter speed, because we probably won't even see it at half speed. I couldn't even see it. I couldn't even see it at quarter speed. But you just saw that 747 just came out of the middle of nowhere. Anyway. Sorry. I was messaging some people on Facebook before I got on making this video. The 747 made a major impact in the aviation world. The plane is still in service today. The plane was also the most popular plane, and the last 747 came off the production line on October 4th of 2022. And it's supposed to be going to Atlas Air. This was a very iconic airplane. It really was. And I think a lot of people are going to miss us as seeing the 747 flying. I never got to see a 747 up close. The biggest plane I've seen up close so far is a 777. And I only got to see like one of them. And I got to see a few of them up close when I was at DFW in Charlotte Douglas. I would really like to see one of these up close. Anyway, thank you guys for watching, and if you enjoyed the video, you guys know what to do. Like, subscribe, comment, favorite, be nice, could be awesome. Every page on the 8s. See you later.